how do I get high net worth clients coming to me? It's probably the number one question that I get asked. If you don't know me, my name is Nick Chaporian. I'm the founder of Apex Acquisition. We are the fastest growing advisor growth and marketing company in the US. We've helped move over $900 million in assets. We've booked thousands of meetings with people that are high net worth, that have millions of dollars in investable assets set aside or ready to give to an advisor. We book those on our clients' calendars. And we know a thing or two when it comes to actually getting the attention of these high net worth clients, getting them to actually convert and not only engage, but actually go through the entire sales process and work with an advisor and what it takes. In this video, we'll go through the commonalities across all of our top performing clients and really some of the things that marketing can't help you do. Because there's this fallacy that if you just have all the right marketing and these shiny tricks that you're gonna be able to pull these people in. But the best quality clients are not won over by gimmicks and a million different ads and funnels and stuff like that. And actually, I'm kind of throwing us under the bus here, because even though we're damn good at getting people on the calendar to schedule in and talk to an advisor, we really can't do some of this stuff for you. You know, we try to help our clients as much as we can in this department, but there's just not a lot that we can do here. And some of it you've got to take on your own completely. And you got to look in the mirror and see, hey, is my firm actually built up the right way? And is it designed to attract the right kind of client? And we're going to talk about exactly that in this video. And reality really just proves this point, because there are so many advisors out there that have fancy websites and they've tried a million different marketing campaigns and they've basically tried everything, but they still don't grow. And they wonder why. In this video, we're gonna go through why advisors just can't grow. And I mean, there's a lot more to it, but I think this is gonna give you a pretty clear answer. And also, I will make this as actionable as I possibly can, so you can walk away from this video with things you can start doing today, tomorrow, this week, and start seeing results from. The thing that advisors struggle with the most is understanding when to lean on marketing and when to lean on trust building, credibility, and relationships. It's really just a fight between the two, because some advisors think that they just need trust, they just need credibility, and some advisors over-index on marketing, and they actually just end up ruining their chances of getting the best quality clients. And in a lot of instances, you need to weave credibility into your marketing in some way, or at least in the back end process of your sales process, in order for people to actually convert. None of the stuff we're about to talk about is theory. In fact, most of this is currently being used by some of the largest advisory firms in the entire world, along with other industries that are outside of the financial services space. We're talking luxury and designer brands and direct-to-consumer companies, e-commerce companies. This stuff is all transferable across industries. Now, I want to talk about the illusion of marketing, because most advisors think that if they just had good enough marketing, if they just got their marketing campaigns right, the business would grow and everything would be so easy. But in reality, it's not just marketing and slick gimmicks and stuff that gets clients and actually gets you the high net worth clients that you want, that ideal profile client that is high value, that actually produces the majority of profit in your firm, brings you the least headache, and the clients that you genuinely enjoy serving the most, okay? You don't get those clients by just doing fancy marketing. There's a lot more to it, because high net worth clients are discerning. I mean, they've seen it all. Right? They see through any gimmicks, any marketing campaign, and they've seen all the ads before. If you're running ads, if you've run campaigns for yourself on Facebook, on LinkedIn, chances are your prospects have seen those same ads. They've gotten those same messages from the same kinds of advisors. And so you pretty much look like everyone else, and that's a big problem. So if we look at luxury brands, for example, they don't just spend millions of dollars on marketing to get more customers. They spend millions of dollars on marketing to build their brand and to actually solidify the credibility that their brand has in the market. And so as a result, they achieve really what is the holy grail in all of marketing, sales, anything, and that's status. Status in the market is more valuable than any ad campaign, than any Facebook ad, than any email marketing, than any referral even. Status in the market is everything. It's what everyone is chasing. And if you manage to actually achieve status in your market, whether it be local, whether it be on a nationwide level, you have cemented yourself a very successful next decade and few decades. And if you think about it, status is quite literally everything in sales and marketing, right? If you look up to someone, if somebody is a celebrity in your mind, then if you get the chance to meet them, if you get the chance to talk to them and they give you a recommendation, they tell you to do something, chances are you're going to change your behavior like that because you trust them. You view them as higher status than you. And so therefore, you're willing to change your behavior. You're willing to kind of jump over hoops to work with them, to get closer to them, to learn from them, to give them money, whatever it is. Now, the real question is, how do you actually build that level of status for yourself as an advisor in your market? And really, the answer lies in understanding something called status consumption theory. And this is really the idea that people actually consume products and services not to only solve problems in their life, but to actually increase their own status as a result. The best example would be someone owning a luxury car or an exclusive watch and conferring status from it, right? Because they're perceived as higher status because they own it. Or same thing goes for working with a specific firm. If you work with a specific advisory firm that is known for incredible levels of service and known for only accepting certain kinds of clients, you are now perceived as higher status. You telling other people about the advisor you work with actually increases your status, which then therefore increases your chances of talking about your advisor. And so a lot of advisors, and really the most successful ones that we work with, oftentimes will position themselves as status conferring partners, advisors that emphasize the level of service they have, the level of knowledge and expertise, and also the resources that their firm offers. That high net worth client almost wears this badge of honor being a client of the firm. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's really just like at the bottom level for clients that are just worried about running out of money in retirement, or they're just worried that they don't have enough in general. Typically, just a functional service of you being there, showing them their numbers, and showing them where their assets are allocated, making sure, reinforcing the fact that they're safe, all that is enough. But typically for higher net worth clients, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are things that higher net worth people value significantly more than just financial gain or time savings or functional benefits. A lot of times it's a feeling of security, it's emotional, it's at the highest level self-transcendence. And that's what status really is, it's self-transcendence. And so just realizing for your highest level clients, the clients that have millions of dollars and that will likely stay with you for a long time, this is about a lot more than just managing money or assets. I mean, you provide significantly more value than you might actually realize. And if that isn't communicated in your marketing or in your sales process, then it definitely should be. If we look at luxury brand Burberry, they went from newcomer to timeless icon. They've stood the test of time. They use a very powerful lever for status, which is scarcity, right? If something is scarce, it's perceived as more valuable, and therefore you are more valuable, and therefore your clients are perceived as more valuable. And so about 5 years ago, Burberry did something very, very interesting. They literally took some of the bags that they produced and they lit it on fire because they realized that they made too many. Now, this is an extreme example, but it just shows how seriously they take scarcity. And I mean, we do the same thing at Apex. When we say that we're only gonna bring on 10 clients in a month or 5 clients, we genuinely mean it. And if we bring on all 5, all 3, all 10 clients, we are not bringing on any more. And you pair that with a really good product like Burberry, who produced very small quantities of their products and focused on craftsmanship and quality, the actual attention to detail in every single piece that they put out, you really dramatically increase the perceived status of your brand in the market. Now, for another lesson, we'll look at Rolex and how they used something called the power of association to increase their own brand status, and how you can really do the same thing. And the power of association is pretty simple. The same way that your clients get status from working with you, the same way that customers get status from wearing a Rolex watch, Rolex built up the status of their own brand by associating themselves with high class, high caliber events, people, and opportunities. And I'm sure you've seen it. A lot of times, rather than focusing on traditional ads, Rolex will sponsor really, really big events that confer value to them. So things like Wimbledon and World Opens for tennis, and the Oscars and Formula One. And by aligning itself with world-class achievements and credible personalities, it instills prestige, durability, and trustworthiness in its own brand. This approach just shows that who the brand is associated with is really just as important as the brand image itself. And Harvard Business Review backs exactly this, right? Brands that have these credibility indicators like personal endorsements and using credible names in their own marketing see significantly higher conversion rates and also overall close rates from lead to client. And look, as I mentioned, I've been very focused on paid advertising my entire career, right? Direct response advertising. And that, to be honest, is actually without the credibility, without the endorsements, not worth as much as it really could be. Because when you pair direct response advertising with these credibility indicators and you have personal endorsements, that is when things really blow up. But if we were to just take these three and rank them on level of efficacy, personal endorsements are going to be number one. They're the least scalable. Then if you can infuse these credibility indicators in your marketing, that's gonna be even more effective. But then if you just have direct response advertising, it's going to still work and generate volume, but it's not going to convert at the level that you could if you did have these credibility indicators in all of your marketing. And just on a personal level, 5 years ago, I sat down to pitch a very high net worth client, ultra high net worth, and I really wanted to get this guy as a client. And I prepared the entire 9 yards, marketing materials, flashy decks, and all the case studies and proof and everything. And I sat down and I pitched him. And about 15 minutes in, I could just tell he was not impressed at all. He really just wanted to know what my values were, how we operated as a business. He wanted to know my story and how I kind of got to where I was. And as soon as I got real with him, I really just showed him, hey, here's what we've done, and here's who we've worked with before, and here's who I'm associated with. That is when his eyes really lit up. And we did end up doing business together. But if I just went in with the traditional marketing, traditional sales method, I don't think that I would have gotten him as a client, because really there's a lot of limitations to traditional marketing. I mean, you've got a lot of surface level engagement, just people that are kind of interested, dipping their toes in, right? You have a lot of skepticism as well. And there's also a lot of just trust issues that come with traditional marketing too, because everyone's been burned before by something. Everyone has tried something in the past that hasn't worked out the way they wanted to. And so there's a lot of skepticism in almost any market that you go into. And so to tie this up, let me just tell you some of the things that I've seen my own clients do, right? Some of the most successful advisors that we work with, what do they actually do to increase their own status in the market? And how can you actually start doing these as well yourself? Well, the same way that Rolex aligns themselves with global icons and credible names, you can do the same thing for yourself. If you do seminars, if you do events, if you go to events, just you being near these people, taking photos with them, doing videos with them, doing podcasts with them. It could be as simple as you pulling out your iPhone and filming a video with this person who's a respected global economic leader, whatever it is, interviewing somebody. That actually adds to your own status as well. If you want to co-host a private workshop with someone, that is done incredibly well for some of our clients. And you can even take that content and use it in your ads as well, if you're running Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads. The next very actionable piece that I've talked about before in another video is just simply drawing a line in the sand and defining exactly who you are willing to work with and who you are not willing to work with. It's not wrong to do this. You need to have standards, you need to have an ideal client profile, and you need to stick to it. You absolutely cannot step outside of it, because if you do, it reduces your status in the market and people view you as more accessible and less exclusive. And so just understanding who do you actually like serving the most and saying no to essentially everyone else. You're gonna have to say no. It's going to be uncomfortable, but this is how brands develop these incredible auras of exclusivity. It's by saying no. It's the only way to do it. The next would just be crafting a reputation of quality. And for you, that would just be the quality of your knowledge and expertise. And that's done through really good thought leadership and creating seminars and content that aren't generic. Because I can't tell you how many advisor webinars I've seen that are all the exact same. Social Securities in retirement, taxes in retirement. This is stuff that everyone has seen before. There's zero thought leadership. There's zero unique insight whatsoever. The other, and possibly the easiest, is just scarcity. Right? This is just simply limiting the amount of clients you work with and the kind of clients that you work with. And this one just takes discipline. It just takes you saying no to certain kinds of clients. And I know it's painful because you want to help everyone, and a lot of advisors don't feel great about this, but at a certain point, if you want to create an aura of exclusivity within your firm, you're going to have to say no to some people. You just will. The other very easy win is using endorsements and storytelling, right? This is obviously a rule that has been updated since by the SEC. You can now do this using endorsements from people that resemble your ideal client is extremely effective. And also telling stories about them, right? Creating a video where you talk about a client and kind of the journey that they went through. That is an incredible way to communicate that you, number one, know what you're doing, and that you actually have clients that also mirror who the viewer is and who your prospect is. And so that just signals that, hey, I work with your kind of people. And then lastly, the same way that some brands craft this reputation of quality, you can do the same thing, but with your knowledge and your expertise, okay? Because that's really your quality. And that's done through very, very intentional thought leadership. That's creating videos, creating content, creating, white papers, whatever it is that communicate your actual knowledge and understanding and not regurgitating what other advisors are saying and what templates and generic resources are floating around. Because I can't tell you how many retirement webinars I've seen for Social Security or taxes and retirement that are quite literally carbon copies of each other. If your content is carbon copied from anywhere else, then there's a very good chance that nobody is going to take you that seriously. So one of the best things you can do is actually sink time into distilling down your own investing thesis. What do you believe about investing? Are you all about the new cutting edge stuff, or are you tried and true? And do you like to stick to the traditional tried and true forms of investing? So that's just taking time and distilling your thesis, your investing thesis and methodology down. Are you all about the cutting edge, the shiny new investment strategies and the new technology? Or are you just tried and true? Is that your idea? Why do you think that works better? What proof do you have to show that that works better, right? Presenting your case and making it compelling. I'll give you an example. We had a client that came on board and they were just running our typical paid traffic campaign. We got them a bunch of scheduled meetings, but what they did differently is after the meeting was scheduled, would send out a white paper that they wrote. This wasn't just a generic cookie cutter white paper. They spent literally months writing this thing, refining it. And when I tell you, prospects were amazed before the meeting. They were absolutely blown away. When they jumped on the meeting, when they were on that call, they were just about ready to work with them. A time investment, it's definitely difficult to do, but if you can create content that shows that you're an expert, really intentional thought leadership is one of the most powerful things you can do to craft your own reputation of quality in your industry, which for you, your quality is the quality of your knowledge, of your expertise, and your understanding of managing money. So none of this is about flashy marketing strategies. This is just human psychology and just status and positioning. And if you can increase your status in the market, you increase your leverage. Because if you have higher status, every word you say is taken more seriously. Therefore, every single ad campaign, every email that you send out is taken more seriously, and people actually act on it and believe you and trust you. And so that is the holy grail of marketing. If you can combine direct response with status and building your brand and credibility, it is lights out.